Could the most elite auditors on Wall Street be fooled by a teenager with nothing but a roll of tape and a dream? Most investors believe the financial system rests on an unshakable bedrock of physical proof and rigorous audits. But what if the entire foundation was nothing more than a stage play? In the mid-1980s, Barry Minkow became the golden boy of American entrepreneurship. At just 21, he was a media sensation, the face of ZZZZ Best, a company that seemed to be printing money. On paper, it was a carpet-cleaning empire. But scrubbing living room rugs does not net a $200 million valuation. Minkow needed a bigger story to fuel the fire of his ambition. He projected an image of unstoppable growth, drawing in millions from investors who never looked past the surface. He stood at the center of the financial world, a young man orchestrating a narrative that Wall Street was desperate to believe. The stage was set, the audience was ready, and the performance was just beginning. Cleaning living room rugs held a ceiling that even Minkow could not break. To reach a $200 million valuation, he needed a narrative that sounded like industrial progress. He stopped selling clean carpets and started selling the future. He claimed ZZZZ Best was now the leader in commercial insurance restoration. He told investors his teams were fixing skyscrapers ravaged by fire and water damage. It sounded professional, it sounded essential, it was entirely non-existent. Wall Street did not just listen. They devoured the story. Analysts printed reports on the untapped potential of the restoration market. Investors fought for shares. The stock price began to climb, then accelerate, then soar. Every new dollar that poured into his account served as fuel for the next layer of the deception. He watched the ticker tape move with the calm of a man who knew the numbers were disconnected from reality. He had created a ghost division that existed only in brochures and press releases. The market was not trading on assets anymore. They were trading on a dream he had manufactured in a boardroom. The higher the price climbed, the further he had to go to keep the illusion from shattering. The lie required more than just words now. It required a physical set. Minkow began renting empty office suites across the city, treating them as temporary stages. He hired actors to pose as insurance adjusters, instructing them to carry clipboards and nod at nothing. He spent his nights in a locked room, hunched over stacks of paper, sweating over the forgery of thousands of invoices. Each document was a brick in a wall of glass. He stamped them with fake corporate seals. He signed names of non-existent contractors. He created a paper trail that looked deep, professional, and entirely legitimate to any casual observer. But the pressure was constant. Every office he rented had to look occupied. Every actor had to stay in character. He was directing a massive, criminal theater production where the script changed by the hour. He walked through these empty corridors, checking the lighting, straightening the fake files, and listening for the sound of anyone questioning the silence. It was a fragile architecture of deception. He knew that if one person walked into the wrong room or checked a single serial number, the entire house of cards would collapse under its own weight. He kept directing, kept forging, and kept the performance running, waiting for the audience to arrive. The illusion hit a wall when Ernst & Winnie made their move. They were not satisfied with invoices or phone calls anymore. They demanded to see the source of the $7 million restoration project in Sacramento. They wanted boots on the ground. They wanted to touch the drywall. Minkow sat in his office, the letter from the auditors resting on his desk like a death warrant. His hand trembled as he reached for a cigarette. He had no $7 million project. He had no site. He had nothing but a collection of empty rooms and a mountain of lies. The auditors were already booking their flights. He had 48 hours to manifest a building out of thin air or face total exposure. He drove out of the city, his eyes scanning every construction crane and unfinished frame along the horizon. He needed a shell. He needed a place that looked like progress, something he could claim as his own before the auditors landed. He pulled over at a random, fenced-off lot, staring at the raw wood and exposed steel. It was not his. It was not even a restoration project. But as he looked at the site, a desperate, dangerous idea began to take hold. He did not have a building, but he was about to steal one. Minkow moved with the precision of a thief. He found the site security guards, pressed a heavy envelope of cash into their palms, and watched them turn their backs. He sprinted to the fence, ripping down the original contractor's placards and hammering up fresh, professional ZZZZ Best signs. He threw branded hard hats across the dirt floor, making the unfinished concrete look like a bustling project site. When the auditor's car pulled up, he was waiting. He stepped forward, hand extended, face fixed in a mask of corporate certainty. He walked them through the framing, gesturing toward pipes and drywall that belonged to a complete stranger. He spoke in rapid, technical jargon, pointing to structural beams as if they were his own genius at work. The auditor stopped at a raw corner, tapping the plaster. Minkow held his breath, his heart hammering against his ribs, and launched into a story about fire-retardant sealant. The lead auditor nodded, pulled out a notepad, and scribbled a checkmark. They shook his hand in the dust of a stolen building. The fraud was validated. The ledger was clean. He had turned a lie into physical reality, and they had bought every word. The empire did not fall to a grand investigation. It fell because of a single, forgotten credit card dispute. A customer called to complain about a charge, and the investigator pulled a thread that unraveled the entire tapestry. The phantom restoration contracts proved to be hollow. The office suites were suddenly empty. The actors playing insurance adjusters stopped answering their phones. As the truth emerged, the stock price did not just drop, it cratered. Thousands of investors watched their accounts evaporate in a single week. Minkow tried to burn the files, but the paper trail was too deep and too wide. He was caught in the middle of a frantic attempt to move assets as the doors closed in. The law moved faster than he could run. He was arrested, charged, and processed through a system he had spent years mocking. The judge delivered a 25-year sentence that silenced the room. The golden boy of Wall Street was gone. In his place was a convicted architect of a massive Ponzi scheme. The financial world looked at the empty ledger and the vanished buildings, finally realizing that the entire ZZZZ Best Empire had been nothing but air, ink, and a very expensive, very illegal performance. The ZZZZ Best offices were cleared out within days, leaving behind nothing but dust and disconnected wires. Minkow served his time, but the shadow of his deception remains. His case provides a cold, hard look at the fragility of trust in our financial systems. If a teenager with a roll of tape and a handful of fake signs could lead elite auditors through a construction site he did not own, then what else is just a mirage? We trust the numbers on our screens. We trust the reports signed by prestigious firms. We trust that the buildings we invest in are actually there. But the line between a legitimate business and a masterfully staged performance is thinner than we admit. Think about the market today. When you look at a balance sheet, are you seeing the actual foundation of a company? Or are you just watching a well-rehearsed act? The scam was not just about the money he stole. It was about the reality he manufactured for an audience that wanted to believe. As the ledgers close on this story, one question lingers for every investor. Are we looking at facts, or are we just watching another expensive show? What do you think?